to where I'm at now. But it's just such a mysterious story. The story of Comet Elenin was such a mysterious story. I love this story. I absolutely love the story, and I wanted to share it with you. And over the next couple of episodes, we're going to talk about some personal stories. And maybe you have the answer. Maybe someone finally will hear this story and go, oh, I was a part of that puzzle. It was this. Or I was on those same forums back then. It was this. But as far as it stands now, just one of the most bizarre experiences I've had investigating the world of the paranormal and conspiracy theory. So enjoy this classic episode 66, Comet Elenin and the plan to take over America. Shifters. And a story so weird, you're just going to have to take my word for it. Today on Dead Rabbit Radio. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dead Rabbit Radio. I'm your host, Jason Carpenter. I'm having a great day. I hope you're having a great day too. I have a busy weekend coming up. I hope your weekends are equally busy and fun. So I'm recording this episode a little bit early, but it'll be released in the normal schedule. It's cold. It's like 11 o'clock at night here. My window's open. It's actually time for me to start running a heater. That's neither here nor there, because I want to go ahead and get started with this episode because, again, it's going to be a weird one. So I mentioned earlier that I had finished watching Twin Peaks Season 3, and that kind of ties into our first story. So let me go over that just super quickly. I'm going to recommend it for people who are a fan of anything Fortean or weird. Now, the first two seasons are a bit different than the third season. The first two seasons is a long, kind of drawn-out soap opera that has these creepy elements, and first it starts off, you think it's a murder mystery, and then it involves stuff like demons and UFOs and portals to other dimensions, and it really started to kind of freak people out. As a kid, I was always afraid of Twin Peaks, but I was also obsessed with it. It's really the forerunner of all the shows like X-Files and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Killing. A lot of these shows wouldn't exist without Twin Peaks. It broke a lot of ground. Now, when Twin Peaks Season 3 was coming out, there was always the question of, was it going to be the small-town slice of life with a little dash of dimensional stuff, or was it going to be balls-to-the-wall weirdness? And it was balls-to-the-wall weirdness. And the show's genius. The last episode ends of the second season with Agent Dale Cooper, FBI Agent Dale Cooper, being trapped in another dimension and being told in 25 years he can leave. And season 3, I believe, was filmed 25 years later. I don't know how they planned that. It could have been 20 years later, but it was close enough. And season 3 is all about other dimensions, doppelgangers, demons, an invasion force, like this interdimensional alien coming down. I'm not spoiling any of it, really, because there's tons of more stuff. Maybe a little bit of spoiling, but it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And it actually had one of the things that creeps me out the most, and that is, and David Lynch is really good at this, making the normal horrifying. So there's a scene where, there's two Special Agent Dale Coopers. One is a doppelganger who is being piloted by a demon known as Killer Bob, and the other one is actually Special Agent Dale Cooper. And there's a scene where the evil version, Mr. C is what he's known as, he goes to a gas station in the middle of nowhere. And he walks up the stairs of the gas station to the roof, and he flickers, and he disappears. And he ends up in this pocket dimension that's like an old hotel. Which is, that's creepy to me, because you drive past these places constantly, and I'm always afraid of those portals, those like the Man from Torah type of things, where you just kind of walk in the wrong spot and you disappear from our reality. I don't necessarily think it's super likely, but I think it's possible, definitely. And so the show is full of stuff like that. At one point, a couple other FBI agents go to an abandoned lot. And then a couple sheriffs go to this meadow in the middle of the forest, and there's just these vortexes of activity. If you go to the right place or wrong place at a certain time, you will get thrust into these horrifying events. And that really plays a huge part in Season 3. Then when he's leaving the gas station, when he comes back down the stairs, and he flickers back into our reality, we learn the gas station doesn't even exist. It's just a grove of trees. So imagine you're a civilian in this situation. You're just driving down the road to get to your house. You're driving through the wilderness, and you're just past a grove of trees, and you don't know that in that grove of trees, sometimes, if you're there at the right time, there will be a gas station. And if you walk up the stairs to the roof of that gas station, you will be thrust into this pocket dimension. I find that absolutely terrifying, because it is the mundane turned into the terrifying. And that is where we're going to start our episode. And again, if I haven't made it clear enough, watch it. It's a great show. It's incredibly well done. And especially Season 3. I've wondered if you could hop into Season 3 without having seen the first 2 seasons. I definitely recommend all of them. But if you just wanted to get like the super weirdness, you might be able to jump right into Episode 3. Season 3. I watched all 3 seasons, and there's still stuff that doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, so we're going to talk about... I'm going to probably mispronounce it, but Beringen City. So Beringen City is basically a real-life little gas station. Now, what I mean by real life is that people say it exists. This is a city in the Philippines, and it's just in this massive wilderness. And if you go at night, if you're in the right mental state or you're attractive, you'll see the city. Now, fishermen will be out fishing out in the Philippines, and they'll look over and they'll just see huge towers with lights on. It's been compared to Hong Kong, but it's not modern skyscraper. There are just these huge spires, these huge ancient buildings that have been built up. And you look over and you're fishing at night and you see this lighted city. Bus drivers have been driving at night, driving through the area, and then they lose time, and the next thing they know, they're in the middle of the forest or jungle, right where the city should be. When people go missing, they say visitors come to the Philippines, come to that area, they go missing, the locals go, they went to Beringen City. They got them. Sometimes they'll find bodies of people who have gone missing. And what's interesting about that is the locals go, that's not a body. That's a tree stump disguised as a body. His soul is in Beringen. So what is Beringen City? It's populated, again, in legend, it's populated by the Engkanto. What the Engkanto are is they are a race of shapeshifters. Now, they can take any form that they want, but oddly enough, when they take human form, they're missing that little groove underneath their nose. You know how people have fetal alcohol syndrome, just kind of have a flat lip? It's something akin to that. They dress in all black, and all their food is black. Interesting little side note. And they're considered, a lot of times they're considered demons in the area, but it's been told that if you are picked to go to Beringen City, you will be taken care of. You will mate with them, and you will live this life of luxury in this amazing rich city. So a lot of times poor kids go missing, and again, people go, the kid must have went to Beringen City, because look where he's at now. He's in a slum, and now he's off someplace better. It's fascinating to me, and this legend's persisted for centuries, really, that there is this city that people swear exists, and to the point where when they find something that contradicts it, like if they go, that guy must have gone to Beringen City, and then they find his body a few days later died of exposure or animal attack or whatever, they go, no, that's not really his body, that's a tree stump. It's magically, I don't know how they explain the autopsy. They're doing an autopsy and a bunch of butterflies come out. There's like a snail on them, I don't know. But it's just interesting, that's how pervasive this legend is. They say that in the neighboring cities around where Beringen City should be, and again, excuse me, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it, I probably am, but in the neighboring cities, there's portals. There'll be like a branch or an odd-shaped rock or a particular inlet to a river, and they go, don't go over there. Why not? Well, that's a portal. It'll take you right to the city. That terrifies me, because it's one of those things, like when you hear about missing people in national parks, or you just hear like people just straight up vanish. Of course, your first thing is, they probably fell, or an animal got them, or they got kidnapped, or something like that. But there's always that 0.01% that they're like, this guy just literally vanished. He disappeared off the face of the earth. And I think, what if there are these portals out there? And when we look at old legends like legends of the Fae, when we look at modern day UFO abductions too, there are just these places where you go and you're taken away. The Philippines is far, far removed, obviously, from Scotland and Ireland, but it has the same myth, and that is you can get tricked into entering to their realm And like I said, they're neutral to evil. You can join them. You very rarely get to leave. People have seen the city and gotten to the outskirts. I think a couple people have said that they went into the city. That's how we have more detailed events. But for the most part, once you're in, you're in. You're not getting out. And they use you to mate. They look for like strapping young men and gorgeous women. They take them in to mate with them. Imagine, put aside all of your reservations about this idea, if you have any to begin with. Imagine the impact if that was ever proven. Like, imagine if one day Google Earth is running a satellite over the Philippines, or one night, and it picks up a spattering of light, and they send in a team of explorers, and they actually come out and they say, yeah, this city actually exists. You can only see it at a certain point in time, and we only got so far, and we encountered these creatures. What that would be far more devastating to the human psyche than UFOs exist. Like, if UFOs came down, people would go like, yeah, I kind of figured that. Like, it's creepy knowing that we're no longer the most advanced species in the galaxy. But imagine if it became proven that on this planet there are portals to other worlds full of magical creatures. Like that would shake everything up. I mean, how it would shake everything up. It would shake up everything from like travel, exploration. It would shake up police, because then they'd be like, well, the guy could have been kidnapped, or he could have fallen into a portal and went to Jaja land. Like, it would completely change the way we looked at our own planet. You'd have travel guides saying, don't go to this place at a certain time of night because you will never come back. And then people would just say, you know what, honey, I'm out of here. Wait, no, come back. We have 5 kids. Goes into a portal. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and to me, see, again, that's terrifying. Ghosts are scary, but it kind of a little comforting because you know there's life after death. Aliens, I think, are exciting if they're like, like, you know, running bombing raids, and we're like rising up as a single species to take them down. But what if it's like, yeah, don't go out of your house today. There's a roaming portal in your neighborhood. Please stay inside. If you start to see any of your silverware like get sucked into a vortex, immediately call authorities. There is a portal in your house. Like, that's way more terrifying because it's primal. It's this phenomenon that's just kind of happening. And again, people would go missing and you'd be like, well, maybe they're in the portal. Don't go near those rocks. Don't go near them. Oh, damn it, lost another one. Time to have another kid. I think that's far more terrifying. It would be one thing that I definitely wouldn't go looking for. There's a scene, again, in Twin Peaks Season 3 where a guy stands on a rock and gets electrocuted for like 2 minutes and just blows up. I don't want to go to that rock. I don't want to accidentally be like, hey, honey, where do you want to have a picnic? Oh, how about that rock? Again, that's scary to me. This city full of these shape-shifting creatures, stories of like the fairies like taking people away into their realm. They walk, you like dance in a circle, or like, you know, they always say never eat anything a fairy gives you because you'll be sucked into their realm. How do I know? It's not some hot chick at a rave wearing fairy wings. I don't know. Spooky. Verigen City. You guys might be brave enough to check it out, but not me. It's the reverse of Dublin, Wisconsin, or Ong's Hat. It's not a city that disappeared, it's a city that appears. Cities disappearing and dying are normal, but cities appearing and disappearing, then appearing again and disappearing, that's the definition of paranormal, of supernatural. It's something that doesn't belong in our reality. This next story is weird, and I'm not able to find the resources that I had on it, but not because of any sort of cover-up. I kind of knew that was going to be the case when I started looking for it again, because it was hard to find in the first place. Now, I gotta tell you a little bit about myself. I used to be 10 toes into the conspiracy world. I used to believe everything. You getting me now as a skeptic is a sharp turn from where I was 10 years ago. Maybe even less than that. Maybe like 6-7 years ago. I used to believe in, you know, the coming apocalypse. Y2K, definitely I did. 2012, I was already kind of getting out of the whole thing. I was definitely a 9/11 truther. I definitely believed all the conspiracies about George Bush stealing the election and the war for the oil and trying to build the pipeline, and that's why he was going to invade Afghanistan and Iraq and do all this stuff. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia was like this huge thing. There is no exit plan. All